to move freely, just apply a little bit more oil, and yeah, don't suffer on filling the skin. So a couple of guidelines before we begin. Nothing about this should be painful. If you're working with any breakouts or areas of sensitivity, cuts, abrasions, anything like that, just work around them. You are in control of the pressure. So if any bits feel painful, just ease off the pressure a little bit. And as the muscles warm up, it will become less painful, particularly if you are suffering from any jaw tension, anything like that. There is always someone after these workshops that messages me and they were like, I actually found that really, really painful. You can control that. So if it's too much, just use a little bit less pressure. So whenever we are doing any kind of work on the face, you should always start on the neck. The neck is really often neglected and it's like the main motorway in and out of our face. So we're just going to start by doing some light circles behind the ears. I'm just using these fingers. You can use whatever feels comfortable to you. And I'm working just underneath the ears, behind the jaw. So it's definitely on the neck, not on the face. All of this massage is going to be done with our hands. We will also be working intraorally within the mouth. If you wanna, if you feel like you need to wash your hands at any point, just let me know and we can take a little break. Hello, hello. So if you could just apply your massage medium, your facial oil. Nice. Next, we're going to create some little fists and work down the neck towards the collarbone, not going over the bone, stopping at the bone. Have you got your massage medium on, Marina? A little bit of oil on your face and neck? Good. So not going over the bone, stopping at the neck. Now just changing direction slightly. So instead of coming straight down, we're going a bit more at a diagonal. So instead of going straight down, we're going at a diagonal and we're working along this muscle, the sternocleidomastoid, that runs from just behind the ear to underneath, to the corner of the collarbone. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, you can see it on this side, that one. And you can either work with knuckles if you are finding that too uncomfortable, if you have a lot of neck tension. Working with the fingertips is also completely fine. Not everything we do today has to look exactly the same as each other, just so long as we know what muscle groups we're working on. Nice. Now just pausing here for a little minute, placing the hands just underneath the collarbone. You can see I'm applying, can you see? Oh, just someone else coming in. You can see I'm applying a little bit of, hi Lena, a little bit of downwards pressure. And we're just going to apply a bit of downwards pressure and tilt the neck back. So this is a really wonderful stretch if anyone has been looking down a lot, looking down at their phones, looking down at their computer screens. And if it starts to feel too uncomfortable, you can come out of it for a second and then go back into it, because it can feel quite strong if these muscles have been a little bit compressed. Really nice. Great. Now just coming back so that our head is facing forward, going from one side to the other, avoiding this area. If you touch it, you'll feel it. It just feels a bit uncomfortable. And either using the fronts or the backs of your hands, or one of each, depending on what's most comfortable for you. We're just going to work along, coming under the chin and over the other side. The area that you're working on is from the collarbone up to underneath the jawbone. So you're working the whole of the neck. I know there's always a bit of a temptation just to work this middle bit. You really want to be working from the collarbone up towards the jawline. The reason for this is there's a muscle that sits here called the platysma. This area, if you want to work on this kind of little jowly bit, you need to be working the whole muscle. And I think you're all going at a really great pace. It all looks really good, but keep it slow and apply a little bit of pressure. So you imagine that you're like elongating those muscles. Whenever you're applying a little bit of pressure, make sure that you're going slow, 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 slow. If ever you're doing anything fast, you need to keep it super light and super brisk. And change your hand position to suit whatever feels comfortable for you. This can be a little bit of a tricky pose to get into. I have to say, I do love doing manual massage with the hands, but I do find stuff on the neck easier with a gua sha, just because it's like a little extension of your hand. And do you follow the exact same pathways when you're doing it? Really nice. Just coming to do a little bit more work on this big muscle, the sternocleidomastoid, that runs from just behind the ear to the collarbone. We're going to start in the middle using fingertips, and we're going to stretch out. And again, move your wrists to wherever feels comfortable for you. If at any point you need to give them a shake, please feel free. And make sure you go all the way behind the ears and all the way down to the collarbone. You want to apply a little bit of pressure, but the pressure is mainly in this direction, stretching outwards rather than trying to go into the neck, like you're trying to pull something apart. Wonderful. And just moving on to the second side, starting in the center, working on this muscle that goes up, right up to behind the ear, right down to the collarbone. Really good, everyone. Great. And before we move on to the face, let's just do a little bit more work under the chin, because this is one of my favorite areas to work. So just using the back of the hand, doing repetitive strokes, or you can turn it the other way and kind of walk like that, whatever's easiest for you. This is an area that you can see really good results in, because we do carry a lot of water here, because we have loads of lymph nodes here. So if you're ever feeling a bit like puffy, this is a great one to work on. So next, creating a little heart shape with our hands, we're just going to pop the thumbs underneath the chin, pinching the chin. We're going to work out towards the masseter muscles, the jaw muscles, where we will be doing a lot more work in due course. Here you can pinch the chin, and you will be applying a little bit of pressure here, but the main energy is going this way, moving towards the outside of the face, as this is where we're trying to encourage the lymph to go, any kind of fluid that's under the skin. And if you find any crunchy bits, any kind of bobbly bits, which does happen along the jaw sometimes, just go over it a couple of times and then carry on traveling. Really nice, everyone. Okay, we're going to move on to the face now, doing one side and then moving on to the other. So the technique that we're going to be doing predominantly today is called sculptural facelifting. And there's a kind of signature hand movement that goes with it where you lead with one finger and follow with the rest of your hand. Lead with your first finger, follow with the rest of your hand. First finger, follow with the rest of your hand. When you're doing this, you're trying to use as much surface area of this hand as possible. We're going to start from the outside of this jaw, working in and working out. So we work from just underneath the jawline onto the face up to just underneath the cheeks. If at any point your arms or hands get tired, just give them a break, give them a shake out, and then you can come back to it. So remember that platysma muscle I told you about that runs from kind of around here all the way down onto the chest? We're working on that a lot. So that's why we're going from just underneath the jaw to up onto the face. Moving from the outside to the inside, working on the side of the mouth. And also over that big masseter muscle. Don't worry if you feel like you're not working into the tension of it. We're going to come back and do more. This is just the initial warm-up. It can be tiring for the wrists. Feel free to give them a little stretch out. Nice. Okay, we're going to carry on doing the same thing. If your arms need a break at any point, don't worry about it. Just have a little break. Oh, bless you. And we are going to work a little bit towards the side of the mouth. Just repeating the same stroke. Really nice. And moving on to the second side, we're going to repeat. So starting at the outside of the jaw, working in, working out. And coming up to just underneath those cheekbones. Really nice. And now coming to focus, just doing a little bit of work on this, the depressor and the levator on the side of the mouth, doing it in the same kind of hand movement. Wonderful. Next, coming back to these big masseter muscles, using these middle fingers. If you can't find the muscle, just pop your hands here and clench your teeth together. And you'll feel the muscle pop out. Release the jaw, keeping some space between the top and bottom jaw, keeping the tongue nice and relaxed. In the mouth, we're going to start to work into these muscles. If you do suffer from jaw tension, go slow, go easy, go gentle. As the muscle starts to warm up, you can start to apply a little bit more pressure, just like deep tissue massage, just like any kind of massage. You can also work a little bit on the corner of the jaw here, which can feel quite nice. Just using fingertips. If you want to start to apply a little bit more pressure, you can do a kind of walking. situation. And if at any point it gets too much, you can always come back to doing some nice big circles. Next, we're just going to press and hold. Finding a little juicy spot somewhere on the jaw, press and hold. If this starts to feel too strong, you can do some little static circles, not actually traveling with your finger, staying in the same spot. Static circles or vibrations, something to take your mind off the pain. If it gets too much, just release and you can come back to it. Once you've had enough in one spot, you can find another little spot and feel the pain all over again. Do some little vibrations, some little static circles, not traveling with your finger. Wonderful. Moving on to, I'm just gonna mute you all just because of the recording, but if you would like to say something, please unmute yourselves. Please don't feel that you can't speak up. So just moving on to intraoral. So this technique works simultaneously inside and outside of the mouth at the same time. It is incredible for jaw release and incredible for the release of all of the buccal muscles. If you're suffering from any kind of jaw tension, it will not just be the masseter muscles working alone. All of these muscles work in synergy. So popping the thumb inside of the cheek. I'm going to talk first and then I'll do it. My sister's already told me, who edits my videos, has told me not to try and talk and do the intraoral massage at the same time. She says that's not helpful. So putting your thumb inside the cheek, we're gonna kind of pinch with both the hands, so the cheek is in between, and start to do some circular movements. You want to be moving both the inside and outside at the same time, so not keeping this static and just moving these ones. You want to kind of pinch the muscle, you'll feel it in there, and you're going to move everything at the same time. If this is your first time doing this or your first time having this done, I would recommend exploring the area. Your mouth is a lot bigger than you think. And the muscles run all the way from under the cheekbone to all the way down this bottom jaw. So you can go up onto the kind of top line where your cheek meets the gum, all the way up and all the way down, same on the bottom. So it's a much bigger area than just this little muscle. I recommend using opposite side hand to opposite side face, as you're going to be able to get in there a lot better. So yeah, you got it. Work slowly, work methodically. So I like to work along the top first, and I really put my thumb and fingers towards the back, pinch, and then pull forward. So you're really just kind of squishing and massaging and stretching the muscles. Do the top bit, do the middle bit, do the bottom bit. While you guys are on this side, you can also start to work into the nasolabial lines. So keeping your thumb in exactly the same position, you're just gonna work this top bit here. So your thumb is like tucked into this bit. staying in the same position or similar position, you can also work this muscle, just half of it on this side, the orbicularis ori, that runs in a circle around the mouth. So you'll just be working one half. And then whenever you're ready, just taking a little break and seeing how one side of your face is feeling in comparison to the other. Do you feel that you've relieved any tension? Does it feel looser to the touch than one side? Good. We're going to go on the other side. So opposite hand to opposite side of the face, thumb inside the cheek, and we're just going to start working exactly the same way we did. Remember, you can go all the way along here, all the way along here, and working this big masseter muscle at the back. You really want to give it a pinch and start doing the massage simultaneously using inside and outside. Make sure that you're keeping space as well between the top and bottom jaw. You don't want to be contracting a muscle you're trying to physically release. So remember to keep that space. I even keep like a physical space between the top and bottom jaw, just to really make sure that you're not clenching. So you can work here, which is basically almost under the cheekbone, under the zygomatic arch. All the way back to this big masseter muscle. And along this bottom jaw as well. Staying in the same position, you can work here into the nasolabial lines. I feel like these are the videos that are going to resurface of me one day in the future when I'm a real adult and probably shouldn't be putting my fingers in my mouth. But it's really effective, so I actually recommend everyone does it. You can also work around these buccal muscles as well. So all around the mouth. In a circle around the mouth, that's where they sit. Amazing. How is everyone's face feeling? Good. If anyone wants to go and wash their hands, feel free, and the rest of the treatment will be outside the mouth. If you guys don't care, I don't care, I'm not washing my hands. I think they'll probably be fine. It's my own spit after all. So next we're going to work, see, Anna knows that you shouldn't put your own spit on your face. That's why she's gone to do it. So next we're going to go work from just underneath the jaw using the flats of our palms working up onto the face. If you need to apply a little bit more oil, which I think I might actually, if you need to apply a little bit more oil, go ahead. So again, this is another great one to work on any little jowly bits, sculpting them up, up, up. We can also do some more brisk movements, keeping hands, wrists light and pressure light. And just moving on to the second side. Wonderful. We're going to do a little bit more work around the mouth. So using our thumb and our third finger, we're just going to pinch the muscle next to the mouth. This is the muscle next to the mouth, not the cheek, the muscle next to the mouth. Good. And we're going to work all the way across and all the way back. So if you guys keep going, if the nasolabial lines are of concern, an area that you want to work on, then you can just spend a little bit more time here. You want to take it really slow if you're struggling to get a grip. You can remove a little bit of the oil and then you'll have a lot more grip. Wonderful. Next, using the same movement that we were using before of this, we're going to work from just above the lips, out the corner of the mouth, out towards the ear. So this is working on muscles called the risorius. The risorius contracts to make us smile. So we're just giving all of these buccal massage that are linked to the jowls, that are linked to the nasolabial lines, a really good workout. Great for jaw tension, also cosmetic benefits too. Really good, everyone. Wonderful. We're just going to do one more little move on the nasolabial lines and then we're going to come under the cheeks. So just using our third finger and thumb again, we're just going to do some little pecks over those lines. Really good. So just encouraging blood flow, encouraging the microcirculation, which encourages collagen production. Really nice. So next, coming to work underneath this zygomatic arch. So if you have any jaw tension, this is where the hinge of the jaw is, and it will also create some tension underneath the cheek. So this is a really lovely place to work out. If you are suffering from any jaw tension, you fear that this might be a sensitive area for you, just start using fingertips and work with your fingertip underneath the area. You can do either hand, whatever feels more comfortable to you. Just running it underneath that kind of zygomatic arch. So if you feel where your cheekbone is, you feel where your cheekbone isn't, you want to be going up and under. So the top lip lifts a little bit. You really want to be like hooking underneath that ledge. If you feel that you can take a little bit more pressure, work with the knuckle of the opposite hand. Yeah, opposite side, and just run the knuckle under there. And this will feel a lot stronger. And the lip should be lifting. Really nice, everyone. And whenever you're ready, just coming onto the second side, either working with fingertips or using the knuckle of the opposite hand. Amazing. How is the bottom half of your face feeling? Good, okay, nice. Great. Next, we're going to work over these muscles called the zygomaticus. It runs from the nasolabial line up towards the temple. And I'm just going to work using these parts of my hands, as much surface area as possible, light pressure, just stretching up over there, over these, so that they sit on a diagonal line across the cheeks from the nasolabial line up towards the temples. Very good, everyone. And there's no need to use a very, very hard pressure here because you're working over bone, there's less fat, so the muscles are closer to the skin surface compared to like our cheeks, which should be a little bit more chubbier. If you find yourself gravitating over the temples a little bit, definitely go ahead because it always feels so nice to work over that area. Great. Really nice. So next we're going to come to work across here, just creating some little lobster claws. We're going to place them either side of the nose and just work out. Great. And we're just going to do a little eye sequence. So starting with ring fingers, fourth fingers, just underneath the corner of the eyes, we're just going to start with some little back and forth semicircles. If you need a little bit more oil here to move freely, definitely apply. I'm using Skin and Tonics. Oh, I thought I was using a different one. This is the sleep recovery oil. It's nice as well. My favorite one of their new range is their Calm Down oil. It smells like blueberries. It's really, really nice. So just going to do some back and forth. And the next time you come into the center, we're just going to do some press and holds, working out. So I'm pressing and holding and traveling along, but I'm never losing contact with the skin. And taking it out towards the ear, giving a little wiggle and then coming back. Really nice, everyone. The next time we come into the center, we're going to work up over those brows using a heavier pressure, then come back light underneath the eyes. Heavy pressure up over the brows, and then coming back light underneath the eyes. And you can really apply some pressure underneath the brows, underneath this brow bone. It feels really lovely. If you feel that you want to stop and hold for a second here, then please do. That's a wonderful one for sinus congestion. Great for any heaviness or tiredness around the eyes. If you've been looking at screens a lot, this is also a really wonderful one for you. Similarly to the mouth, we have circular muscles that run around the eyes called the orbicularis ori. No, that's a complete lie. The orbicularis oculi. And that's what we're working on at the moment. No matter how many times they say it, I get it wrong every single time. Really nice. Coming up onto the brows, we're just going to do a little bit more work here. So I'm using fingertips to just stroke over the corrugator muscles, just doing this a few times. You do not have to use a gentle pressure here. It is not a delicate area. Of course, don't hurt yourself, but you don't need to be feathery light. Here we're working over muscles called the corrugators. These muscles are responsible for these lines, the 11s, as people call them, or frownies, as some people call them, or some other probably awful name that some people call them. I don't know. But here, we're just smoothing tension out of these corrugator muscles that sit underneath our eyebrows, so they're used a lot for expression. Next, we're going to do some pinch and holds. Pinch and hold. I use my third finger and my thumb. You can use whatever feels comfortable for you. Be mindful of nails if you have any. You don't want to scratch yourself. Pinch and hold. And just working your way out, pinching and holding, and then releasing. And as I said, this is not a delicate area. You can really give those brows a pinch. It may be tender if you've been carrying a lot of tension here. Only go to what feels good for you. Really nice, everyone. Feel free to break this up with some slightly more soothing strokes. Great. Next, we're going to come just to work between the brows. So I'm just running up the nose and just coming between the brows over the procerus muscle, this muscle that pops out when the corrugators come in. Great. Then we're just going to use this kind of movement across the whole brow. So working into those frontalis muscles. Nice. You can also use the sculptural face lifting move here, which is really lovely for like lifting the brow and lifting out, stretching out those frontalis muscles. And I would recommend using opposite hand to opposite side again. Using this, you can also come to work on the side of the eye, which is lovely for a little lift there as well. Great for any fine lines. And feels lovely going over the temples. Swapping hands when you get to the center. So you're using opposite hand to opposite side. And coming down by the eye. Working up across the temples. And just repeating once more time on each side. I love working over the brow. I think it's so nice. I think that we hold so much tension here without kind of being aware of it, because you don't get the same ache that you get in muscles like your shoulder or your jaw. It's not until you start working into it that you really notice. Wonderful. Then just coming to do a little bit of deeper work here. We're going to work using our knuckles just to encourage microcirculation. So you're going to be using a very, very light and brisk pressure, working across the whole forehead. I'm working with my dominant hand, my right hand, and I'm using that for all sides of the forehead. You can also pay a little bit of extra attention to any of these lines between the brows by stretching out the skin and doing some work just using one of your baby knuckles. This is a move that you have to be mindful with. You can burst blood vessels here. Blood does come to the surface very quickly. So just do a little bit, see how it's going. And if you can tolerate a bit more, then go back for some more. I do actually think that you build up a little bit of a tolerance to it, because I used to flush super quickly and now I don't so much. Maybe I'm just more mindful of my pressure now that I know what the consequences can be after many accidents and burst blood vessels. Nightmare. Really nice. Just taking some outward strokes from the center out towards the side. Great. Final move here on the frontalis. Using fingertips, placing them in the center of the forehead, you're just going to stretch in opposite directions. So it's okay to pull the brow down here. It's also okay to go up into the hairline if that's something that feels right for you, as the muscle does continue back into the hairline. Yeah, and you may want to swap which hand is where on each different side. And here you are applying a little bit of pressure into the skin, but the main pressure energy is moving outwards, moving away from each other. Stretching out these frontalis muscles, the muscles that contract, shorten to create these lines and to lift our eyebrows. Wonderful. Now just coming onto the temples and giving ourselves a little temple massage. I like to work away from the face because it also gives that little lift. So I just wanted us to kind of finish up the last massage moves, and then we'll just do a little bit of wind down as well, as it's quite late. Just a couple of moves into the hairline, if you all feel okay with that. All of the muscles that we've been working on, and a lot of the stuff that we've been trying to achieve is lift, and all of these muscles go into the hairline. Whenever I'm doing any cosmetic acupuncture for lifting, I put needles in the hairline to pull everything, encourage everything up. So we're just going to do a little bit of massage into the hair. All I'm doing is creating some little claws and just doing what we call shampooing. So just like when you're washing your hair. And you can do this all over the head. Crown of the head, back of the head, using your thumbs under that lump at the back called the occiput or occipital. This is also great for hair growth, as it's encouraging blood to the hair follicles. If you wanted a little bit more pressure or energy, you can work using the heel of your hand to do some friction movements into the hairline. This is typically used in Indian head massage. It's quite a common use. If you ever have one of those, this is what they do a lot of. Amazing. Okay, I just want to do a couple, one or two little moves just to bring us down. Everything we've done has been quite invigorating, and it is nighttime. So we're just going to place our third finger over the third eye and do some very, very teeny, tiny, very light circles, and just close down the eyes. And we'll stay here for a few breaths. Inhaling deep and exhaling. Can those circles be any smaller? Can your finger go round any slower? If you feel your mind wandering, just focus on the pressure of the touch on your skin. A couple more breaths here. Wonderful. Doing the exact same thing, just about an inch higher. A line up, just an inch higher. Great. Making your circles really, really tiny. Keeping the pressure nice and light. Can you move any slower? Could your touch be any lighter? And focusing on those deep inhalations and exhalations. Imagining that these little circles are unwinding your mind, unwinding your muscles, calming down the central nervous system, and getting you ready for a restful evening. Last 2 breaths here. Coming back to the feel of that touch on your forehead. Inhaling and exhaling. Really nice, everyone. Blinking open the eyes. We're just going to finish up where we started, on the neck, creating some little fists, popping them underneath the ears and running down towards the collarbone, taking it nice and slow. Wonderful. And we're just going to end by placing our hand on our heart center, and we're just going to do some gentle presses, wave-like motions, closing down the eyes. We'll stay here for a few breaths. In this area around the heart center, we actually house a lot of lymph nodes. We've been working a lot on the lymphatic system, but I always like to think of this as a lovely area to work in terms of calming the body down and supporting yourself. Wonderful. Whenever you're ready, blinking open your eyes, giving your hands a little shake out, and you're all done. How is everyone feeling? All good?
So lovely.
Yeah? Good. Does anyone have any questions for me at all? No? You're all feeling okay?
Yeah, that was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you for joining, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Be sure to drink some water after this, as we have worked quite deeply into the muscles, particularly if you did have any tension. And yes, this will be saved and sent out to you. If you are a Skin Society member, you will have access to it for as long as you're a member. If you are not a Skin Society member, you have access to it for a week. So yes, thank you so much, everybody, for joining me, and hope to see you all soon. Have a lovely evening.
Thanks, Katie. That was so relaxing. Thank you.
Thanks.